So what are you doing? Why are you rioting, disturbing the peace, looting, violence? What is this? This is un-Islamic. And the poor Muslim ruler is unable to do anything. Such countries are at the verge of destruction because kafir powers manipulate the laymen, the hooligans, whether in good or bad. And they are ready for waiting for the right moment to launch what they want. Akhi, Allah has given you a responsibility as a citizen, as a normal person, as a layman. Do what Allah ordered you to do. What's above you, what is way above your pay grade, let that be to those whom Allah has given them the responsibility and whom Allah will hold them accountable on the Day of Judgment. So the Muslim ruler may put all of his effort, look in all different aspects, and then he makes a decision. He's either right or wrong. If he's right, he's rewarded twice. If he's wrong, he's rewarded once. So the Prophet did not say ﷺ that he's sinful. No. What he has done was exert all his efforts. The conclusion is not of great importance because Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who guides. So as long as he had done his due diligence, he has offered the best of efforts and tried his level best, this is sufficient, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal. It was the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam who assumed the role of a judge among the Muslims. So the Prophet ﷺ was not only a prophet and a messenger. He was not only a leader at battle. He was not only a teacher, a companion, a husband, a father. He was also a judge. And people would come to him with their cases and he would resolve it for them. Not only that, he also appointed judges. So among his companions, we know that he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal, may Allah be pleased with him, and Abu Musa al-Ash'ari to Yemen to be judges and to teach the people Islam. We know that he also sent Ali as a judge, and Ali throughout the khilafas of Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman used to be a judge, judging people, giving counseling. And the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, who succeeded the Prophet ﷺ also were judges and appointed judges and sent their companions and hired them to be judges to solve and resolve disputes among the Muslims. So this is a well-established fact in Islam. Islam the religion, Islam the system, Islam the way of life. Now, what are the conditions of such a judge? First condition, without any dispute, is that the judge must be a Muslim. And this is also one of the comic situations that we see in the media and on social media. When people say that this is unfair, this is bias, this is segregation, why do we discriminate other religions and not allow them to be judges? And we hear this a lot in secular countries, countries that the vast majority of the population are Muslims, but they are ruled by the enemy. They are ruled by those who were taught in their colleges and in the universities. So they're trying to undermine the infrastructure of Islam by pretending that they're Muslims, while they are most likely or more likely to be hypocrites. So they come and say, why discriminate? Why not allow non-Muslims to work in our court system? And who knows, maybe tomorrow they will say, why not allow a Christian citizen to offer Friday khutbah and lead the Muslims in prayer, so that we would have unity and no discrimination? A'udhu billah. Where are they going to take us next? Sharia law is not a game, is not man-made. It is from the Quran and from the Sunnah. And without the dignity, the honor, the pride of Islam, what is left? We've never heard anyone saying, let the Pope be a Muslim for a change. Yet in these secular countries, these hypocrites come forward and claim that we should not discriminate. Judges should be of all faiths because they're citizens. So they put citizenship on top of Islam. Your religion is your own concern. Citizenship is the sacred conviction and belief. It's the deity that we worship. A'udhu billah. This is blatant shirk and kufr. So when it comes to ruling and judging, this can only be assumed by Muslims. And there's no doubt in that, none whatsoever. Because only a Muslim can rule and judge with the Sharia law. Non-Muslims would think that this is barbaric, this is not logical, this is inhumane. And what do you expect from someone who's a disbeliever, who's a kafir, who does not believe in Allah or in the Quran or in our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? Second condition of a judge, so he's a Muslim, he has to be sane and adult. So you cannot appoint a child to be a judge. You cannot appoint someone who is mentally challenged to be a judge. He has to be sound in his decision, and this only comes to a person who is sane and an adult. Thirdly, he has to have this integrity, probity. He has to have this fairness, being trustworthy. So you don't bring an actor or a singer or a dancer to be a Muslim judge. These people are not Islamically classified as trustworthy. They're disobedient. They are sinners, open sinners. Allah says in the Quran, O you who have believed, if there comes to you a disobedient one, in Arabic it's fasiq, with information, if he comes to you with information, investigate, lest you harm a people out of ignorance and become over what you have done regretful. So if a witness testimony is rejected, if he's disobedient, if he's a fasiq, he comes to court and he wants to testify, and the judge discovers that he was involved in a slandering case 2 years ago and he was flogged 80 lashes. His testimony is unaccepted. Why? Because he's disobedient. If he comes to testify and he's a well-known drunkard, or he deals in drugs, or he deals in prostitution, this guy cannot testify. He's not trustworthy. And definitely he cannot be appointed as a Muslim judge because he's not trustworthy at all. Number four, he has to have sound constitution, which means that he should be physically fit and would not have any illness that would hamper his decision making. You see, a judge is a very important role, and he must be a person who makes a sound judgment. So if he has a disability that would hamper his decision making, in this case, the majority of scholars say that he should not be appointed as a judge. So he should not be deaf, he should not be blind, and he should not be dumb. And this is, of course, an issue of dispute. Being deaf or dumb might be accepted, though being dumb can be resolved through writing. Being deaf can be resolved in reading. Being blind can be resolved by hearing. Yet the most authentic opinion is that a blind person can judge. And whenever there are cases where he is unable to give a verdict due to his sight being impaired and he cannot see, then his assistants may help him. And these are very rare, because the Prophet himself ﷺ used a blind person, and that was Abdullah ibn Maktoum, who was a blind companion. And whenever the Prophet ﷺ went out on an expedition, he would appoint him as the ruler on Medina. And the ruler at the time meant that he led the prayers in the masjid, that he was the Muslim ruler, the judge who would rule disputes. And being a blind man did not hinder him or stop him from such a position. Number 5, judges should have a thorough knowledge, and this is extremely important. You remember that we said that the Prophet ﷺ told us that there are 3 types of judges, and by the way, these 3 types are not percentage wise, so 33%, 33%, and 33%. No, it is classification wise. So you could have 1 out of 100 who's a good, righteous judge, and 99 who are in hell. So those who do not have knowledge, those who do not possess the necessary knowledge to work as judges, they are in big trouble. And I always tell those who opt to study law, and I've seen some of my own relatives doing this, and I gave them the warning that you cannot study law without mastering the Islamic Sharia law. And unfortunately, in most countries, Islamic countries, there is this clear segregation where people study the French law, the British law, American law, commercial law, the administrative law, without mastering the Islamic law. And this causes a lot of confusion, especially to young Muslim students. And this is why the fatwa from the major great scholars of our times is that it is not permissible to study law unless you can master the Islamic Sharia law. After that, yes, you can study British law, French law, and you will find that most of it is based on Islamic law. But there are aspects that you have to be really careful when studying if you are not qualified in the Islamic law, because this would cast doubts on your own Islam. And you don't want to go there. You don't want to have issues with your own religion simply because you're ignorant. So a Muslim judge must have thorough knowledge of what? Of the Quran, of the Sunnah. He has to be well versed in all aspects of the Islamic faith. He has to be able to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. And he has to be keen to maintain justice. So it's not only the knowledge you have,